Uber's biggest risk is undoubtedly the threat from driverless car technologies. And even though I've rated Uber as my top stock to buy in 2025, I still consider the bear case against Uber's business. In fact, the stocks that I rate highly, I spend even more time on the bear case, on the threats, on the risks to the business. So in this video, I'm going to go over how Uber is planning to respond to that threat to its business in the long run from driverless car technology. So let's take a look.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So in their latest quarterly conference call, Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi said that on autonomous, we think we are very, very well positioned. We're investing aggressively across all parts of the portfolio. And let me just say, this seems like an overcompensation from Uber CEO saying that we think we are very, very well positioned. Two varies, and saying very well positioned in itself seems like an overcompensation to this big threat to your business. Investors, shareholders, those that are following the company know that this is a huge risk for the business. And I think it should be treated as such. A CEO going out and saying, oh, we're very well positioned, this isn't something that we're concerned about, I think is a little bit alarming from my viewpoint. I would feel more comfortable if the CEO was more cautious about this threat. Now, I've taken the viewpoint on driverless car technology that it could be a huge risk to Uber's business, but it can also be a huge benefit. The outcomes, the variations are wide. And the CEO is, I guess, focusing only on the positive side here, saying that, look, we're well positioned for this new development, this new technology, which I agree, it could be a huge benefit to Uber's business. And we're going to see the CEO is going to talk about the reasons why it could be a benefit, but it's also a big threat. And Uber's stock would not be selling at this cheap valuation if it wasn't a big threat. Uber's forward price to earnings ratio of just 18.4 is extremely low for a business with its characteristics. Its revenue growth is accelerating, its cash flow from operations are soaring, its profit margins are expanding, the number of new customer acquisitions is accelerating, satisfaction is growing. Nearly everything else is working in Uber's favor outside of this big threat from driverless car technology. This business would be trading at, I don't know, double the valuation it's trading at now without that threat from driverless car technology. So that threat is certainly depressing the company's stock price. Even though it's performed well so far, it's already up 31.66%. Year to date in 2025. It's only been a little over a month in 2025, and it's already delivered fantastic returns for investors, but that threat remains. And so the CEO goes on to say, what you really need is that kind of magic liquidity to be able to match the variable demand and provide the 5 to 6 minutes consistent ETAs in order for the network effect to work. And what the CEO is talking about here is that you need to have a lot of supply in the marketplace in order to match with demand in the marketplace. And the CEO is saying that Uber is very well positioned in that regard because they have so many drivers on the platform, so many customers on the platform, right? Over 100 million monthly active platform customers on Uber's platform. So they have that supply, they have that liquidity that anyone else, if they were to try to build that, it would take them so much time and money to build that network. It's not like any driverless car provider is going to say, all right, we have driverless cars now. Now we're going to make $1 billion every day. That's not going to be how it is. They've got to attract all of those customers. How are they going to attract those customers? Are they going to have a big advertising campaign? How much are they going to have to pay for customer acquisition costs? All of that is something Uber has already built. They've already built that. They've already got that mass network liquidity that any of these driverless car technology providers will need to build outside of actually building that driverless car technology. That's only one piece of the equation. So Uber's saying that they're well positioned to have the kind of fleets in the market that can manage autonomous vehicles. We're looking at acquiring depots, electrification required for charging the fleets, etc. We're going out with various autonomous players and building out technical partnerships, talking with original equipment manufacturers about securing supply as their manufacturing platforms. And so it's a broad investment. Uber's not just looking at this from one facet of this offering. They're looking at it from a customer viewpoint. What's a customer going to want when they're trying to get a ride for their self, right? And so they're building out all of the technical details that's needed for this market. They're preparing, they're laying the foundation for all of that. And they're making themselves a very attractive partner for anyone building these driverless car technologies. So they're making it so that, let's say Tesla does come out with the driverless cars and they have the manufacturing capability to build all of those cars. What Tesla needs also is the customers. Once they're building those cars, who are the customers that are going to order those cars for rides? And Uber is making itself an attractive partner so that Tesla looks at this and says, should we build our own app or should we just partner with Uber? Or maybe acquire Uber outright instead of spending the time and money and energy to build our own app and spend all that money for customer acquisition cost. We can just maybe acquire Uber altogether, which would be good for Uber stock investors. They would receive a handsome sum for that acquisition, or partner with Uber, right? Which I know is against what Tesla has done so far. Their strategy has been to be, vertically integrated and have all of the steps in-house and not partner with anybody. But if Uber makes itself an attractive partner, that could be an option for many of the other manufacturers, many of the other technology providers. It's not only going to be Tesla that has driverless car technology. They're already behind in this equation. There's already driverless cars on the road from Google's Waymo, from other companies like Zoox and others. And so Uber can partner with all of the other providers and carve out a marketplace, a niche for itself in that scenario. So it's a broad investment. Uber is taking steps in this regard. I like what they're doing so far in partnering with and building the foundation to make themselves an attractive partner to carve out a market, even in the event of driverless car technologies becoming mainstream and becoming everywhere all at once and every single ride turning into autonomous rides. I don't think that's going to mean Uber's business goes to zero, which is almost what's priced into their valuation right now, is that it's inevitable that we will have driverless cars, and it's also inevitable that it'll drive Uber's business close to zero, which I think is an overestimation. I do think we are going to have driverless cars, but I don't think it's going to inevitably drive Uber's business to zero. It could. There's certainly a threat that it could happen, but I think Uber's made itself an attractive partner for anyone building this technology to partner with, and so have all of those other steps, right? If you're a manufacturer, maybe you don't want to do all the customer acquisition, all the marketing, all the maintenance, all of that. Uber can do that for you if you partner with them. So I like to see they're planning ahead of time, and it's good for Uber that Tesla has chosen the strategy of being very transparent in their plans so that Uber can counteract those plans and be prepared in the event that we do transition to driverless car technology. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.